Words with Mayor McKay.
You're no doubt aware that the Nanaimo Daily News, after 141 years, is no longer publishing in the Harbour City. Their last paper came out on Friday, January the 29th. That's a huge hole in the media landscape here in Nanaimo. How is that going to impact City Hall, do you think, Bill?
Well, we're going to have to look at different alternatives and to get our messaging out. We've got one paper that publishes twice a week now. We're going to have to concentrate on social media and other avenues to get the messaging out. I don't know if you're aware or not, but we've got quite a presence on Facebook and on Twitter. We've got just under 11,000 Twitter followers.
And you're quite active personally on Facebook as well.
Yes, and I'm going to become more active. We've got about 7,000 on Facebook.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, because when you say get our messaging out, that was the role of the paper, was to sort of keep some of that messaging maybe in check and to hold City Hall accountable. And even though they weren't always favorable, they were necessary. You picked up the paper every day, and this is going to be something missing in your life.
Absolutely. It's that morning coffee with the paper. It was one of the first things I did. So now it's going to be, we're going to have to look at other different avenues. What you touched on with respect to the balanced story.
Right.
Going to social media, the challenge with social media is that they're not balanced stories predominantly. They are stories with someone's viewpoint on them, somebody's specific message out. That's what you relied on the newspaper to help you with, to see both sides of a story. And that's what I appreciate in newspapers.
So even though you maybe didn't like what was written, you still appreciated that balance?
I appreciated the balance, but more particularly, I appreciated a reporter that would tell both sides of the story. We've lost some very, very good reporters here recently that have great careers. I'm going to be interested in watching them because they were good journalists.
And they were very, very young, and I think they brought a great vibrancy, perspective, and energy to this city, and I'm going to miss that very much. How do we replace it? Where do we now get our balanced, professional, journalistic reporting on what's happening in this city? I mean, we have the twice weekly paper with the news bulletin. We can't discount them by any means, but a daily is a daily. What do we do now?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because we're seeing an awful lot more online presence. Toronto Star, for example, they've done a tablet format daily newspaper. Who knows what's going to happen in the next reincarnation of news, of daily news in Nanaimo.
Do you think there's some parallel? If voter turnout's low and the paper can't stay afloat because people aren't subscribing, it's sort of an overall theme of disengagement.
I agree. And we have to figure out how to get people re-engaged and re-involved. You know, when we go out in initiatives to, build a new building or a new park or some such thing like that, we want the community to be involved. So we're going to have to look at different ways. Some of the city's methods may very well be e-town hall meetings in a broader format than what we're doing now.
And there's a new website.
New website coming up, absolutely. There's going to be more interaction between that website and the city, and you're going to get faster answers to questions that you might have.
Another big loss for the media here in Nanaimo recently, Hillary Eastmere. 91.7 The Coast, she's gone down to Victoria at CFAX, and she just sort of hit this city like a storm. She came in about a year ago, and it's like she just belonged and should have been here. But again, another young, talented person that we couldn't keep.
Interestingly enough, she came from radio, had a radio show back in Ontario, and when I first met her, I was really impressed. I actually did some research on her, and I'm telling you, she's brilliant. Yeah.
Excellent.
Kara McKenna is another one. Spencer, you got to give it to him. The veterans, Robert Barron and Daryl Ballard, they were hounds. They were news hounds. They dug, and you didn't always like the reception you got from them as veterans because they were no nonsense. Yeah. However, they were good for our community.
So you're going to be picking up the Times Colonist every morning now.
I will. Yes, I certainly hope that we start seeing a Central Vancouver Island focus to it. The paper that we have now, they do a good job for what they're designed to do, but I'm looking for something that's got the in-depth story.